He was a broke teenager screaming into a webcam in 2021.
No, I don't look cute.
Nobody knew his name. By 2024, he was pitchside with the most famous athlete alive, wearing his name, singing his song, calling him brother.
No, tell him to be a Ronaldo fan.
The internet called it love. We're calling it something else. Because when you line up the timeline, every spontaneous reaction, every stadium visit, every viral tear, it doesn't look like devotion. It looks like design. This isn't a fan story, this is a heist. A teenager looked at the most recognizable face on planet Earth and didn't see an idol. He saw a door into an audience no gamer, no streamer, no YouTuber had ever cracked open. Football, billions of people deep, and completely untouched by anyone in his lane. So, he picked the lock, one tearful reaction at a time, one donation, one stadium credential. One perfectly timed moment after another, until a gaming rage clip kid from Ohio became a global phenomenon, riding the coattails of the greatest footballer alive. He didn't fall in love with Cristiano Ronaldo, he used him, and he used him well. So how did a nobody engineer the biggest attachment play in streaming history? Stay and find out.
Let's go! LeBron James. Who's better, Ronaldo or Messi?
Hey yo, Messi better, bro! Bro, no!
Yeah!
Before Ronaldo, there was just noise. He crossed 100,000 subscribers screaming at Fortnite lobbies.
PLZZ.
Good game.
No strategy, no brand, just a teenager having full nervous breakdowns on camera because a stranger online begged him for a victory royale. People didn't watch him for skill, they watched him implode. His rage became the product, clipped and reposted by strangers who found his meltdowns funnier than anything happening on the actual screen. Within months, he crossed 1 million subscribers on the back of that formula alone. And for a minute, it looked like enough. It wasn't. Because while he was busy losing his mind over video games, a war for the future of internet fame was already being fought, and won, by other people. Kai Cenat had started streaming that same year, and within 18 months, he'd done something no one else on the platform had managed. He broke Twitch's all-time subscriber record, crossing 300,000 subscribers and becoming the most subscribed English-language streamer alive.
So shout out to Kai Cenat. He actually officially holds the record for subscribers on Twitch, hitting over 300,000. I can't make it up. 300,000, y'all. That's crazy.
He didn't do it alone. He did it with AMP behind him, a content collective built specifically to manufacture viral moments on demand, a machine designed to make one creator look inevitable. Adin Ross had been building since 2018. Years of head start, a loyal community, a direct line into celebrity culture that took most creators a decade to earn.
So what's your good side? What do you like walking on? What side do you like walking on?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, you look good from both sides. Yeah, it doesn't really matter at all. A system where we can quickly fact check things and see if it's real and authentic.
Yeah, and right now they don't have that.
No, they don't.
That's the problem.
XQC had already claimed the crown everyone else was fighting for, an untouchable numbers game built on volume and consistency most humans can't sustain. Ninja. Tyler 1. A tier list of names that had already been written in stone before this kid even had a fan base. This was the field he was standing in, not an open lane, a battlefield. Every seat at the top already taken by someone with more time, more infrastructure, or more raw luck than he had. He was never going to out-scream Kai Cenat. He didn't have a collective behind him. He was never going to out-access Adin Ross. That relationship building takes years, and he didn't have years. He was never going to outgrind XQC's numbers game. If he stayed in that lane, competing on their terms in their format for their audience, he loses. Not eventually. Immediately. So the real question isn't why he found Cristiano Ronaldo, it's why nobody else did first. Because the opportunity was sitting in plain sight the entire time. Football, the single largest audience on Earth, a fan base measured not in the millions that gaming culture fights over, but in billions, spread across continents that English language streaming had barely touched. No major streamer had built a brand around it. Not Kai, not Adin, not XQC. An entire planet's worth of attention, completely unclaimed by anyone in his lane, sitting there, waiting for someone hungry enough or shameless enough to pick it up. All it took was one moment to open the door, a stranger online, a donation worth less than the price of a coffee, and one lazy question: who's your favorite footballer?
Bradley donated
Earl, my
£1
boy.
and 79 pence through Super Chat. What soccer football team do you support?
Cristiano Ronaldo, Suey.
He didn't hesitate, he didn't think, he just answered. And the internet did the rest, turning 3 seconds of a stream into a viral clip that reached more people than a month of Fortnite rage combined. That's the moment everyone remembers as an accident. Watch what happens next and decide for yourself if it still looks that way. One viral clip doesn't build an empire. It takes a campaign. And what came next didn't look like a fan getting lucky. It looked like a plan getting executed. He didn't post about Ronaldo once and move on. He didn't let the moment fade the way viral moments are supposed to. He built his entire content calendar around it. Every stream, every reaction, every video circling back to the same name, the same obsession, hammered into his audience until it stopped being a joke and started being his identity. Football content, Ronaldo highlights, Ronaldo reactions, Ronaldo, Ronaldo, Ronaldo. A level of repetition that looks less like passion and more like a strategy that had already proven it worked and had no reason to stop. Because here's what most of his old gaming audience never noticed: every escalation lined up. Every time his growth started to plateau, a new Ronaldo moment appeared. A song, a tribute, a public declaration of loyalty so loud it was impossible to ignore. And every time, the subscriber count moved. Not gradually, in spikes. The kind of spikes that platforms reward, that algorithms chase, that turn a mid-tier creator into a trending name overnight. Coincidence once is coincidence. Coincidence over and over on a schedule that just happens to match every dip in his growth curve. That's not coincidence. That's a pattern. And patterns get built on purpose. Then came the access. Not earned through years in football media, not through credentials, not through relationships built the slow way, but through sheer relentless public devotion loud enough that it couldn't be ignored by the people around Ronaldo himself. Stadium visits, sit-downs, proximity that professional football journalists spend entire careers trying to earn, handed to a 20-year-old gamer because he'd turned himself into impossible to ignore. Was it love that got him through those doors? Or was it the most effective audience acquisition strategy anyone in his lane had ever run? Dressed up as love, because love is what makes people forgive the hustle underneath it. Because make no mistake, this wasn't cheap. Flights, merchandise, songs recorded and released purely to keep the narrative alive. Every dollar spent wasn't fandom spending, it was reinvestment. The kind of reinvestment a growth stage business makes when it's found the one strategy that's actually working. And it worked, again and again, at every single stage. Right up until proximity to the greatest footballer alive stopped being a dream, it became infrastructure. By the time the stadium doors opened for real, this wasn't a fan finally meeting his idol. This was a takeover completing itself. Because once he was inside, pitch side, camera rolling, standing next to the most photographed athlete on the planet, the content stopped being about football at all. It became about him. Every clip, every headline, every reaction video wasn't selling Ronaldo to the world. The world already knew Ronaldo. It was selling him. A gaming rage clip kid from Ohio, repositioned overnight as football's newest global ambassador, standing shoulder to shoulder with a man who took 2 decades to build the reputation he borrowed in a single afternoon. That's the part nobody wants to say out loud. He didn't earn a seat at that table, he engineered one. And once he had it, he never let the cameras stop rolling long enough for anyone to ask how he actually got there. And the timing kept being too perfect to ignore. Major tournaments, international tours, moments when the entire football world's attention was already locked onto Ronaldo. And there he was again, somehow positioned right in the middle of it, riding the exact wave of attention he had no organic claim to, not because football embraced him, because he refused to leave the frame. Mainstream sports media had no choice but to start covering him, not because he'd proven anything as an athlete, a pundit, or a journalist, but because ignoring him meant ignoring a story that had already gone viral without their permission. He forced his way into rooms built for people who'd spent careers earning the right to be there, and once inside, he made himself impossible to remove. That's not friendship, that's not fandom, that's an infiltration that worked exactly as designed. A nobody who identified the single biggest attention vacuum in global sports, attached himself to it before anyone else thought to try, and rode it past every single streamer who was ahead of him when this story started. Kai Cenat still owns Twitch's subscriber record. Adin Ross still has the head start. XQC still has the numbers. But none of them own a piece of the biggest athlete alive. He does. And he built that ownership one calculated moment at a time, dressed up the entire way through as love.
Someone don't like. Maybe someone don't like me.
Because maybe I'm too good. I don't know why.
So here's where we land. A broke teenager from Ohio looked at the most famous man on earth and saw two things at once: an idol and an opportunity. Nobody can prove which one came first. Nobody, maybe not even him, can fully separate the two anymore. Every piece of evidence points the same direction. The timing, the escalation, the access earned in months instead of decades. The growth spikes that lined up too perfectly too often to be luck. On paper, this looks like the most successful attachment strategy in streaming history, but strategies don't cry when they finally meet their idol. Strategies don't fly across the world for a handshake that lasts 10 seconds. Strategies don't keep showing up year after year, long after the algorithm boost has already paid off and there's nothing left to gain from pretending. Maybe that's the uncomfortable truth here. Maybe it was never one or the other. Maybe the love was real. And he was still smart enough to know exactly what it was worth, because that's the part that should bother you the most. Not that he might have used Ronaldo to build an empire, but that if he did, it worked so well, so cleanly, that 4 years later, nobody can even tell the difference between genuine devotion and a perfectly executed plan. He didn't just attach himself to the biggest name in football. He made you unable to tell whether it mattered. So, fan or architect, we've shown you the timeline, we've shown you the pattern. The verdict is yours.